Hey guys, do you ever wonder why lawmakers who claim to be pro-life make it so hard to live life? They love the unborn, but once you're past the birth canal, get a job. Okay, let's get something straight. A woman's uterus isn't a potluck, and if it was, then men are the kind of guests that only bring paper plates. The day it should be necessary to get consent from the father is the day we invent the male uterus. We'll call it the deuterus. Until then, our body's our choice.
Is ending.
Okay, now before we go any further, the baby is not your body. It's another body in your body. Your body is just feeding it, giving it nutrients, preparing it for the time that's outside your body, that your body doesn't need to keep it safe, doesn't need to feed it. And I think men should have to say that, because most men, most guys, when they have a child, that child means everything to them, and to take that away, I think that would hurt a man a lot.
The life of a human fetus moral. Let's begin with this question. Does the human fetus have any value and any rights? Now, it's a scientific fact that a human fetus is human life. Those who argue that the human fetus has no rights say that a fetus is not a person. But even if you believe that, it doesn't mean the fetus has no intrinsic value or no rights. There are many living beings that are not persons that have both value and rights. Dogs and other animals, for example. And that's moral argument number one.
Exactly. Not just animals have rights. Not just animals. Not just humans have rights. Animals have rights too. And they're not human, but like dogs. Dogs are just as important as humans. Yes, they can't do everyday tasks, but they still have rights as a human, and they're still important to a human day life, and they're still important to life in general.
A living being doesn't have to be a person in order to have intrinsic moral value and rights. When challenged with this argument, people usually change the subject to the rights of the mother, meaning the right of a mother to end her fetus's life under any circumstance, for any reason, and at any time in her pregnancy. Is that moral?
No, let's get this straight. It's not moral. Now, everyone likes to bring up the idea of rape, which rape and incest only consist of 1% of abortion. 99% is out of convenience. Now, they're saying, well, if we can't pay for it, then they have a worse life. Well, that's what Planned Parenthood used to do. Planned Parenthood used to be able to give you the financial money, maybe make it help you support a human life. Now, all they do is give you abortions.
It is only if we believe that the human fetus has no intrinsic worth. But in most cases, nearly everyone believes that the human fetus has essentially infinite worth and an almost absolute right to live. When? When a pregnant woman wants to give birth. Then society and its laws regard the fetus as so valuable that if someone were to kill that fetus, that person could be prosecuted for homicide. Only if a pregnant woman doesn't want to give birth do many people regard the fetus as worthless. Now, does that make sense? It doesn't seem to. Either a human fetus has worth or it doesn't. And this is moral argument number 2. On what moral grounds does the mother alone decide a fetus's worth? We certainly...
Well, I'll answer that real quick. No. A mother never has the ground to say, this fetus is worth this. You gotta have a chance at life. Think about this. You're here today. How old you are. 8, 10, 20, however you are. If your mom didn't like you and thought you were worthless, you wouldn't have been here where you got today. No matter how horrible your life is or it is, you always have that chance of having a good life, and you also have the chance of having a horrible life. That's just the sad part of life. Now, you don't get to decide when someone's worthless or not. You never do.
We don't do that with regard to a newborn child. It is society, not the mother or the father, that determines whether a newborn child has worth and a right to live. So the question is, why should that be different before the human being is born? Why does one person, a mother, get to determine whether that being has any right to live. People respond by saying that a woman has the right to control her body. Now, that is entirely correct. The problem here, however, is that the fetus is not her body. It is in her body. It is a separate body. And that's moral argument number 3. No one ever asks a pregnant woman, "How's your body?" when asking about the fetus. People ask, "How's the baby?" Moral argument number 4. Virtually everyone agrees that the moment the baby comes out of the womb, killing the baby is murder. But deliberately killing it a few months before birth is considered no more morally problematic than extracting a tooth. How does that make sense? And finally, moral argument number 5. Aren't there instances in which just about everyone, even among those who are pro-choice, would acknowledge that an abortion might not be moral? For example, would it be moral to abort a female fetus solely because the mother prefers boys to girls, as has happened millions of times in China and elsewhere? And one more example. Let's say science develops a method of determining whether a child in the womb is gay or straight. Would it be moral to kill a gay fetus because the mother didn't want a gay child? People may offer practical reasons not to criminalize all abortions. People may differ about when personhood begins and about the morality of abortion after rape or incest. But with regard to the vast majority of abortions, those of healthy women aborting a healthy fetus, let's be clear. Most of these abortions just aren't moral.
99% of them.
Good societies can survive people doing immoral things. But a good society cannot survive if it calls immoral things moral.